Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sprint 275 review. This was a normal 2-week sprint. Just a quick note, I had the daylight savings time markers incorrect for months now. So the slides are now correct. It is currently standard time, and the meeting starts at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. I'll start with the overview, Elsa on the UI, Adam on providers, and Joe on the platform. This sprint, we had 86 PRs merged. And of those, about 28 were bugs, 17 bugs, 28 enhancements, and a lot of technical debt this time, and some refactoring. And over to Elsa on the UI.
Thanks, Jason. So to start, we have some bug fixes. So Jason has PR to fix diagnostics database page. So the issue was that clicking on the database tab would throw an error and the details won't be visible. So that is fixed. Next, we have a PR to fix ESLint version in quality config file. And then there was a bug that disk resize request was not working in the French UI. The request actually appears to be working, but it was not, so that is fixed. On to enhancements. So Gilbert had a PR to add columns to show repository and the workflow name in the embedded workflow component. Also, sort functionality is added to the columns. Then Adam has a PR to add column to display payload validity for workflows. Then there was a PR to remove the text and only show the icon in the payload valid column. Then I have a PR to include invalid workflows also in the list and disable them in the embedded workflow component. There was also a PR by Gilbert to convert VM snapshot form from Haml to React. And Adam had a PR to update configuration script service provisioning. Next slide. Okay, for tests, we have contributions from Joe and Ashwath. So we have PRs to expose Cypress spec pattern option from Yarn and Rake, replace Cypress manual UI catalog setup with factories, replace UI-driven cleanup with DB state restore, a PR to make database cleaner operations more thread safe, and there is a reward PR that ensures action cable connection is not a pinned connection. I think the change is already included in Rails 7.2.3, so this PR was dropped. Then we have some other PRs to enhance form element selectors, select accordion item, and then enhance validate form fields to assert checkbox state, and a PR to add Cypress commands for MIQ data table, enhance expect alerts command, a PR to chain then function directly to intercept API for returning zone name, add explicit status code assertion for add zone API, and a PR to add Cypress test for catalog form. Next slide. Okay, there are other PRs also. We have a package update PR, so get intrinsic packages updated. Also updates UI components to version 1.6.1. Then remove old Angular AE resolve options code. Another reward PR to update dependency bootstrap switch to version 3.4.0. Then I think Jason had PR to remove unnecessary IVARs, drop diagnostics, collect logs, drop log collection validation. Then for UI servers, we have PR to update UI components to 1.6.1. And for UI components, there's a PR to show and disable invalid workflows in the embedded workflows component. This is for dialog editor. And Adam had PRs to fix UI components build missing NVM command and a PR to document the necessary steps to build UI components. Jason had a PR to simplify the Docker file, and Gilbert had a PR to update UI components to release version 1.6.1. Next slide. So now we have these screenshots for some of the tasks. For the diagnostics database page fix, you can see that there was a server error when clicked on that tab. So that is fixed and now the details are visible. Next slide. For the workflow entry point enhancements, so there are a couple of changes. One is we can see a newly added column called repository. So there are two columns now, repository and workflow name. Then there is a new column called valid that shows whether the workflow payload is valid or not. Next slide. Also for the embedded workflow component, now it also includes invalid workflows and it will be disabled or grayed out. And the tooltip will also mention that it is an invalid workflow. And it also applies to the embedded workflow component in the dialog editor. So that is the screenshots below. Next slide. Yeah, so that's all for UI. Over to Adam.
Thanks, Elsa. For Amazon this sprint, they added a new database type, so we pulled that one in. There are a few of them, but they're all from that family. For the dummy provider, we've been going through an effort to try to get specific provider types out of core specs, and we're going to be replacing them with dummy provider equivalents. So as part of that, we added some classes under some of the dummy provider managers that are used in core specs so that we could replace some of those core factories. We also are running the provider common tests in the dummy provider now, and Jason added vendor icons for all of the dummy manager types so that they can pass the provider common specs. For KubeVirt, some bug fixes and some refactorings this sprint. So we fixed an issue where full refresh collection was essentially happening on every targeted refresh. So it was getting everything from inventory and then ignoring it and getting just the targeted one. So we cleaned that up, and targeted refreshes are significantly faster now. We also cleaned up some unreachable targeted refresh code that was only applicable before some of the changes with inventory refresh many years ago. So we're able to get some of that out. We also fixed a VM provisioning bug where the newer KubeVirt and Kubernetes versions changed the run strategy, so we updated to meet those. It had been deprecated for a while, but it just started failing if it was present. So we got that fixed up. And then on the refactoring side, we also moved watch notice processing into the collector. KubeVirt has essentially its own way of doing targeted and streaming refresh, and so I'm trying to get it closer to how Kubernetes and OpenShift do it. So this is the first step of that. Next slide. OpenShift, just some updates paralleling the ones from KubeVirt. So splitting the full and partial inventory collector classes was necessary in OpenShift after some of the refactoring in KubeVirt. So we just got the OpenShift virtualization side updated for that. For OpenStack, we had a community user, Nicolo, fixed two issues. So Oslo messaging v2 events, which are present on some of the newer OpenStack versions, had nested JSON payload, so we weren't parsing the event payload properly. So he got that fixed up. He also added identity event support to the Cloud Manager event parser. So if you create, delete, etc., OpenStack projects, the identity payload wasn't being processed properly, so he got that supported. And finally, for workflows, we added ManageIQ API built-in method. A few sprints ago, we added a generic HTTP method, and this one is a more specific one for interacting specifically with the ManageIQ API. So it's built on the HTTP one, but it takes care of most of the things that you would have to do if you wanted to hit the ManageIQ API specifically. So that is it for providers. Over to Jim.
Thanks, Adam. For platform enhancements this sprint, Brandon added a HealthZ endpoint for usage in the pod liveness probes. Jason added support for having a mount point to be used for log collection, removing the need to collect these via file depot instances. And Adam made some backend changes needed for the UI to allow the embedded workflows for automation manager provisioning. Next slide. For bugs and maintenance this sprint, Jason updated to Rails 7.2.3. He also dropped the backend for log collection and the related tables, columns, configuration, and a few other things. He fixed an issue with the deploy KubeVirt VM script regarding logins with the newer versions of KubeVirt. Keenan updated Rack to 3.1.19. And Jason cleaned up some of the code around pinging a mount point, as some of it was never used and no longer needed with the removal of log collection. and moving it to the collect log shell scripts. Next slide.
And that's all for our Sprint 275 review. The next Sprint Review 276 is on November 19th at the usual place and time. And I'd like to thank all our presenters today, all the contributors to Manage IQ, including our new contributors, and our whole community. Thanks, everyone.